Oh, I'm live. Please be paying attention. Hi, what day is it? It's Sunday. I'm so messed up with my days. And days go by so fast too. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna do Isaiah on the fly. I haven't even read the chapters yet. So yeah, let's do this with my cold coffee and my foggy brain. It's rainy here today. So, but it's been unusually warm, and my sister said in Florida it's hot and humid, which for November, I mean, Florida's warm, it's not hot in November, so almost December. But whatever, strange. Let's read, I guess, and we'll see what we find. I've been really struggling this weekend with injustices, and it's not like, it's just, I don't know, it's really gotten me down. Injustices towards me or towards others, or just in general, the whole world and the evil that brings its injustice to, people around us. And I'm getting really tired of people not even listening, or trying something different other than what they've been told. I don't get why people don't even think. I don't know. They can't even think differently anymore. Hey, Forever. Oh, Mel's here too. It's the girls so far. So yeah, I've just been thinking about the injustices of the world, but also there have been some significant things happening to people I know too, and um, it's been awful. So, and I see all types of people too. It's people that are proud and haughty. I've seen, or just downright arrogant, like assholes, if I can say that. Like just downright. I knew they were like that, and I'm thinking of a specific situation. I knew they were assholes, but they hid it pretty well until you know what hit the fan, and then they let their true colors fly, which isn't new. There's nothing new under the sun. But when I warned against these people, some people in my family didn't listen, but oh well, they know now. Anyways, just all that. So I've been kind of, if you want to say, the vibrations have been down. I've probably been thinking about too much negativity. So, yeah, but the Most High has His justice coming, and He knows all that's going on, whether it be in individual people's lives or the world. And I always say, no matter what time we're in, I know I talked about the millennial reign possibly already happening in this little season, or if that's still to come, or yada, yada, yada. To me, all that preteristic thinking, or being for that or against that, it doesn't matter, because what matters is if we're just faithful and do what's right and stand up for the injustices and stand up for our family and friends and be the trustworthy person, that people can come to. That's what matters, no matter what season we're in this realm and in time and our space in our realm. Justice will be served by the Most High anyway, so it doesn't matter what time we're in, really. But all right, enough of that. That's what's been going on in my mind. We'll read Isaiah. I think we'll get through 30 through 32, because they're kind of short. And like I said, I haven't looked at this beforehand, so we're just going to read it together and talk. Oh, thanks, Forever. Yeah, I don't know. I try to live by that. I just try to be a trustworthy person. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to go too much into it. I had a friend who kind of just wasn't trustworthy. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna stop. Oh, sorry, I don't want to show the weekend me. That's why you don't see me on camera. No one wants to see the weekend me. I don't usually dress up on the weekends. So anyway, all right, enough about that. Let's just go and read. I was trying to find something about the sounds heard in Utah, and I couldn't find anything substantial, so I don't have anything to share. If I do find something, I'll let you know. But let's just read in Isaiah. All right. This is the Amplified Version. I might cite my Names of Yah Bible. Okay. Woe to the rebellious children, says Yahweh, who take counsel and carry out a plan, but not mine, and who make a league and pour out a drink offering, but not of my spirit, thus adding sin to sin. Who set out to go down into Egypt, and have not asked me to flee to the stronghold of Pharaoh, and to strengthen themselves in his strength, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. I'm going to stop there. Let's look up drink offering and what that entails, because I don't know off the top of my head, and it's good to know that he's referring to it, which we can observe these offerings. My friend Trevor has his teachings about Torah and things, and it is something you can observe, and it's usually with the offerings instead of like a literal offering. It would be, well, you could do an offering to someone, or give to someone, or give to extra to whoever's in need. But back in these times, whenever that was, it was an offering to the Most High. Oh, okay. Sorry about the pop-ups. Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he spoken with him, a pillar of stone, and he poured out a drink offering. He also poured oil on it. So it's going to be wine. You shall prepare wine for the drink offering, 1/4 of a hin, I don't know what that is, with the burnt offering or for the sacrifice for each lamb. Sorry about all these pop-ups. Okay. Exodus 29. The other lamb you shall offer at twilight, and shall offer with it the same grain offering and the same drink offering as in the morning, for a soothing aroma, an offering by fire to Yahweh. And in Numbers, he shall also offer the ram for a sacrifice of peace offerings to Yahweh, together with the basket of unleavened cakes. The priest shall likewise offer its grain offering and its drink offering. Then the drink offering with it shall be 1/4 of a hin for each lamb in the holy place. You shall pour out a drink offering of strong drink to Yah. The other lamb you shall offer at twilight as the grain offering of the morning, and as its drink offering you shall offer it, an offering by fire, a soothing aroma to Yah. Okay. So it's wine along with the offerings. And as I was reading, I was just thinking about how other religions, Buddhism and other religions like that, they do for food their idols. So I'd be curious to differentiate that. And some people say, oh, they're just copying what the Bible says. But, scroll it down because it's hard to understand for me. Scroll the main page down forever for Isaiah. Or was it for the drink offering? Which part? Make it big. Make it really big. Is that better? This one? I'll scroll as I read. Is that okay? Okay. Yep, can you see it now? Okay. Verse 2, I'll begin. Who set out to go down into Egypt, and have not asked me to flee to the stronghold of Pharaoh, and to strengthen themselves in his strength, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt? Now, in Bible class, as a young child, we always learned about how Egypt was so pagan, and we always see how, I guess we see it today with different, the Eye of Horus and things, which is supposedly what Hollywood follows, and everybody that's in power follows. But yet in Isaiah, it talks about Egypt worshiping the Most High at some point, and it also talks about going to them for protection. Joseph was well known and well used in Egypt. So it's interesting that it goes back and forth like that. Okay, can you see it forever? Let me check the chat. Can you see that okay? Okay. Therefore shall the strength and protection of Pharaoh turn to your shame, and the refuge in the shadow of Egypt be to your humiliation and confusion. So this is for Judah. This is talking to Judah. Judah is going to Egypt for refuge instead of the Heavenly Father. For though Pharaoh's officials are at Zoan, and his ambassadors arrive at Hanes in Egypt, yet will all be ashamed because of a people, the Egyptians, who cannot profit them, who are not a help or benefit, but a shame and a disgrace. A mournful inspired prediction, a burden to be lifted up concerning the beasts of the south, the Negeb. Oh, the heavy burden, the load of treasures going to Egypt, through a land of trouble and anguish, in which are lioness and lion, viper and fiery flying serpent. Ew, that sounds disgusting. They carry their riches, and it sounds scary, upon the shoulders of young donkeys, and their treasures upon the humps of camels, to a people that will not and cannot profit them. For Egypt's help is worthless for no purpose. Therefore I have called her Rahab, who sits still. Rahab is also the lady who helped the spies into Jericho, the harlot. She was a harlot that lived in the wall, and she helped them spy out the land before Jericho was destroyed. And then she was saved, and Rahab was also the great-great-grandmother of David, I think, or great-great-great, I'm not sure. Okay, verse 8. Now go write it before them on a tablet and inscribe it in a book, that it may be a witness for the time to come forevermore. Forevermore. So I wonder where this is now, if it's forever. For this is a rebellious people, faithless and lying sons, children who will not hear the law and instruction of Yah, who virtually say to the seers by their conduct, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not to us what is right. Speak to us smooth things, prophesy deceitful illusions. Get out of the true way, turn aside out of the path, cease holding up before us the Holy One of Israel. And like I said before in the last video, it seems like, to me, it's reading as two different people. This isn't reading to me as the Messiah, Jesus, or Yeshua, whatever you want to say. I wonder if this is someone else. I'm not trying to be heretical. I'm just saying it's reading like it's somebody else. Therefore, thus says the Holy One of Israel, because you despise and spurn this my word, and trust in cunning and oppression, in crookedness and perverseness, and rely on them, therefore this iniquity and guilt will be to you like a broken section of a high wall, bulging out and ready at some distant day to fall, whose crash will then come suddenly and swiftly in an instant. Kind of like Jericho. He shall break it as a potter's vessel is broken, and breaking it in pieces without sparing, so that there cannot be found among its pieces one large enough to carry coals of fire from the hearth, or to dip water out of the cistern. Oh, that was a big, long sentence. For thus says Yahuwah Elohim, or El, I shouldn't say Elohim, Elohim is plural. Yahuwah El, the Holy One of Israel, so now it's referring to him. In returning to me and resting in me, you shall be saved. In quietness and in trusting confidence shall be your strength. But you would not. And you said, no, we will speed our own course on horses. Therefore, we will speed in flight from your enemies. You said, we will ride upon swift steeds, doing our own way. They who pursue you be swift, so swift that 1,000 of you will flee at the threat of one of them. At the threat of 5, you will flee till you are left like a beacon or a flagpole on the top of a mountain and like a signal on a hill. That's kind of interesting that that says that. Flood buildings that have flagpoles on the top. Okay, glad you can see it. And if you ever think I'm wrong or you have something to say, just say it. I don't mind. Verse 18, therefore Yah earnestly waits, expecting, looking, and longing to be gracious to you. And therefore he lifts himself up that he may have mercy on you and show loving kindness to you. For Yah is an El of justice. Just what I was talking about. Blessed, happy, fortunate, to be envied are all those who earnestly wait for him, who expect and look and long for him, for his victory, his favor, his love, his joy, his matchless, unbroken companionship. O people who dwell in Zion, you will weep no more. So Zion is that perfection place. It's paradise, it seems. All throughout Isaiah, Zion is the place to be, where you are in the presence of the Almighty. He will surely be gracious to you at the sound of your cry. When he hears it, he will answer you. And though Yah gives you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet your teacher will not hide himself anymore, but your eyes will constantly behold your teacher. And your ears will hear a word behind you, saying, this is the way, walk in it, and when you turn to the right hand, and when you turn to the left. Then you will defile your carved images overlaid with silver and molten images plated with gold, cast them away as a filthy, blood-stained cloth, and you will say to them, be gone. Then he will give you rain for the seed which you sow the soil, and bread from the produce of the ground, and it will be rich and plentiful. In that day your cattle will feed in large pastures. So I think this is all literal. It's not the Most High's love for us. And I think that's what a lot of churches do. Sometimes they do things, they read the literal things as figurative and the figurative things as literal. Again, inversion. So, okay. Thus and likewise, and the young donkeys that till the ground will eat savory and which has been winnowed with shovel and with fork. And upon every high mountain, on every high hill, there will be brooks and of water in the day of the great slaughter, the day of Yahuwah, when the towers fall and all his enemies are destroyed. I want to stop there, and this is what makes me think some of this has already happened, because this is talking collectively to a people. Sometimes he's talking to all nations, sometimes he's talking, and a lot of the time he's talking to specific nations in each chapter. And we don't know where these towers are. And we see a lot of evidence for fallen towers around us, but we don't really have, what towers do we have now? The skyscrapers? You know, the 2 World Trade Centers that were in New York, those were those tall towers. Not comparatively to what we've seen in geography and in the past. I don't know. So I'm a little unclear about this being already, this happening in the future. Moreover, the light of the moon will be like the light of the sun, and the light of the sun will be 7-fold like the light of 7 days, concentrated into one, in the day that Yah binds up the hurt of his people and heals their wound, inflicted by him because of their sins. So a brighter moon, a brighter sun. But we talk about this a lot too right now. The sun is too bright. I don't remember the sun being as glaring as it is now from when I was young, and I'm not that old, but I don't know. You tell me, like in the 60s or 70s, if it was um, toned down compared to the harshness that it is now. And the same with the moon. I don't know why. I used to like the moon, but now the moon creeps me out, and it looks strange to me. 23 is now, you said. Yeah, rich and plentiful. But it's just strange. Things are strange. If even the sun and the moon are the same, I don't think they're the same as they were in the past. I think UAP touched on that, them being different. And just from artwork, you can look at yourself. It's strange. The name of Yahweh comes from afar, burning with his anger and in thick smoke. His lips are full of indignation. His tongue is like a consuming fire. His overflowing stream that reaches even to the neck. To sift the nations with the sieve of destruction, a bridle that causes them to err will be in the jaws of people. So this is a turning. So he's saying, listen to me and turn and go on the right path. This is saying they're going to be turned to the wrong path on purpose. So the enemies, the nations, are going to be turned away by him. You shall have a song as in the night holy feast is kept, and gladness of heart as when one marches in procession with a flute to go to the temple on the mountain, the rock of Israel. And Yahweh shall cause glorious voice to be heard, and the descending blow of his arm to be seen, coming indignant anger, and with the flame of a devouring fire, amid crashing blast and cloudburst, tempest and hailstones. At the voice of the Lord, the Assyrians will be stricken with dismay and terror when he smites them with his rod. The Assyrians are mentioned a lot, and I don't quite know, besides them being a nation in the Bible, what the true significance of it. I think there's more significance. Yah uses the Assyrians, and then he also judges them, and he uses them in judging other nations. Okay, verse 32. And every passing stroke of the punishment and doom which Yah lays upon them shall be to the sound of Israel's timbrels and lyres, when in battle he attacks Assyria with swinging and menacing arms. For Topheth, a place of burning and abomination, has already been laid out and long ago prepared. Yes, for the Assyrian king and Moloch it has been made ready, its pyre made deep and large with fire and much wood. Yahuwah, like a stream of brimstone, kindles it. So we all know Moloch was the one that they sacrificed children to. Supposedly the idol that they worship in what's that place in California in the redwood forests, Bohemian Grove. But obviously it's not just there that they do it, but they do a lot of weird things there. But this is pretty specific. Prepared long ago. It makes me think longer than our time that our realm has been created. We don't know how long this is. Isaiah's getting pretty vague with, Yahweh or a day coming. Like this says long ago prepared. We don't know how long. So it's interesting to me. I'm more confused. Yeah, yikes. Hey, Andrew. Okay. Now we're in chapter 31. So 30 was all Judah going to Egypt for refuge. The Most High did not like that. He said he would show them the way to go after he had punished them. He would bring them back, and then he would punish Assyria. And chapter 31 is again the reiteration of Yahweh, his people from Assyria, not the Egyptians. So keeping with the same theme. All right, woe to those who go down to Egypt for help, who rely on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not to the Holy One of Israel, nor seek and consult Yah. And yet he is wise and brings calamity and does not retract his words. He will arise against the house of evildoers and against the helpers of those who work iniquity. So this is why I like the Amplified Bible, because it gives some light to what it's really talking about. It's not just talking about the whole house like a family, a race, which this race is different. Now that most of us know that there's not just humankind, there's different of beings out there. And if this is the race, fallen angels, I guess I would tend to think that. But okay. So he's going to rise against them, against the help of iniquity. Now the Egyptians are men and not Yah, or not an El, and their horses are flesh and spirit. And when Yahweh stretches out his hand, both Egypt who helps will stumble, and Judah who is helped will fall, and they will all perish and be consumed together. For Yahweh has said to me, as the lion or the young lion growls over his prey, and though a large band of shepherds not be terrified at their voice or daunted at their noise. So the Yahuwah Sabaoth will come down to fight upon Mount Zion and upon its hills. So again, here's this Mount Zion place. I would tend to think where we are told mountains, or like the Mount of Olives, is not truly in Israel, like somewhere else. I've never been to Israel. I don't know if any of you have. Place, I still think there are many vast places that could be, like I've been saying, in America, North America. It's much more vast here. So there's many more high mountains that could be Mount Zion besides the tiny, the ranges in Israel. All right, I don't want into that. But I did want to say what came to my mind about Judah. Judah is one of the main tribes of Israel. And so when we think of that, if we think in kind of new terms of, so we have 10 lost tribes, which people are still, they are or where they are. Judah is the main first tribe that has significance. That's Jesus's lineage. So it's talking to that specific people group. And from what I know, that's who the blacks that the Hebrews believe they are Judah. But I can't say for sure. But I know there's a lot of people that look into that stuff much more than I do. Okay. Like birds hovering, so will Yahuwah, I can say Yahweh, I don't mind, Jerusalem. He will protect it, he will pass over and spare and preserve it. Return, O children of Israel, whom you have so deeply plunged into revolt. For every man of you will cast away in contempt and disgust his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which your own hands have sent for you. Then the Assyrian shall fall by a sword, not of man, and a sword not of men shall devour him, and he shall flee from young men shall be subjected to forced labor. In his flight he shall pass beyond rock, refuge, and stronghold because of terror. Even his officers shall desert the standard in fear and panic, says Yahuwah, whose fire is in Zion and whose furnace is in Jerusalem. So I'm going to stop for a second. Let's look up the Assyrians. I don't know if this is a good I guess it is kind of like a commentary. Oop. I don't know how to spell Assyrians. Okay, I can't remember since college what the Assyrian background is or where they came from. So let's just look up other scripture about it. Well, I'll make it big. This is pretty tiny. Okay. So we hear about the Assyrians, but I can't remember who they quite were. Sorry for the scrolling. First mentioned in Genesis. Let's go to that. Okay. Oh, it just says where it is. Okay. So interesting. Okay, here's another. It goes everywhere when I think about time and where we really are. Okay, let's just go to verse 10. Now, let me make it big. Now a river flowed out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it divided and became 4 rivers. Pishon flows the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. The second river, Gihon, the whole land of Cush. The third river, Tigris, flows east of Assyria, and the fourth river is the Euphrates. Now, I'll just say this. I think, personal opinion, these places were not given in Genesis to let the reader know where it was. I think these places probably, or may have been, I shouldn't say probably, sorry, may have been already established. Assyria was already there, which makes more sense now that I think back what we did in Isaiah, that it was planned long ago this way. And we know that there were probably other beings in the realm before Adam and Eve, and whether they were still there in another place beyond Eden, but these places may have already been established. So Assyria from long ago, Cush, those places, Havilah, we don't really know for sure. So that's kind of I don't know, that's like a who, if you want to say. So I don't know. Makes more sense to me now. So all of the woes and judgments against Assyria make sense if they have been the reason for a lot of trouble beyond Eden, beyond Genesis. Chapter 32, and then we'll be done. Behold, a king will reign in righteousness and will rule with justice. Hallelujah. Okay, so they're saying this is again the millennial reign. Each one of them shall be like a hiding place from the wind and the shelter from the storm, like streams of water in a dry place, like the shade of a great rock in a weary land, to those who turn to him. Or turn to them. The eyes of those who see will not be closed or dimmed, and the ears of those who hear will listen, and the mind of the rash will understand a good judgment, and the tongue of the stammerers will speak readily and plainly. The fool, the unbeliever, and the ungodly will no more be called noble, nor the crafty and greedy for gain said to be bountiful. For the fool speaks folly, and his mind plans iniquity. I've seen that recently. Practicing profane ungodliness and speaking error concerning Yah, leaving the craving of the hungry unsatisfied and causing the drink of to fail. The instruments of the fraudulent and greedy for gain are evil. He devises wicked devices to ruin the poor and the lowly with lying words, even when the needy is just and right. But the noble, open-hearted, and liberal man devises noble things. and he stands for what is noble and generous. Rise up, you women who are at ease. Hear my, Isaiah's voice. You confident and careless, listen to what I am saying. In a little more than a year, you will be shaken with anxiety. Careless and complacent women, for the vintage will fail and the ingathering will not come. Trouble, you women who are fear, you complacent ones. Strip your cloth upon your loins in grief. They shall beat upon their breasts for the pleasant fields and for the fruitful vine, for the land of my people growing over with houses of joy in the joyous city. For the palace shall be, the populous city shall be deserted. We've seen this, probably has already happened wherever this is. And the watchtower ends for wild animals endlessly. A joy for wild donkeys, a pasture. This all over the place in certain deserts around. Until the Spirit is poured upon us from on high, and the wilderness becomes a fruitful field, and the fruitful field is forest. We talk about lots of. Then justice will dwell, and righteousness, moral and spiritual rectitude in every area and relation, will abide in the fruitful field. The effect of the righteousness will be internal and external, and the result of righteousness will be quietness and confident trust forever. My people dwell in a peaceable habitation, in safe dwellings, and in quiet resting places. But the wrath of Yahuwah, shall hail, coming down overpoweringly on the forest, the army of the Assyrians. And the capital city shall be utterly humbled and laid prostrate. So here's a little commentary, if it might even help out. Authorities find it impossible to be sure whether the city here means Nineveh, Jerusalem, or even Babylon. It would be the composite of all the cities up to the Most High. So yes and no, we can still put our own understanding into these things. So I'm kind of thinking, this is my thought process. We know that things are not the way they seem. So if indeed places like the Americas or Europe, for those that think it's Europe, those places are still set up as places that evil is what they want to accomplish, and that's their out points. Those are still in place. Or else they're trying to until the final judgment. If you want to take like a preterist kind of view about it, it could go either way. That's why I get kind of confused. It could go either way. And I'm not confused such as like I'm thinking about it and agonize, just talking points, Anything could be anything nowadays. We just don't know. But we know it's true that judgment's coming, that the Most High is going to rule and reign forever eventually. Okay. Happy and fortunate are you who cast your seed upon all waters. When the river overflows its banks, for the seed will bud, and when the waters subside, the plant will spring up, and you will find it after many days and reap an abundant harvest. You who safely send forth the ox and the donkey to range freely. So what I was going to say here too was cities it's written as are well known around the world, around the realm. Of places set up on high, whether it be watchtowers, as it says towers itself, or fortified cities, aka like star forts. I don't know. But these are places that were well known throughout the realm. And even if you do think about Utah, those rocks and those formations are huge. Those would be well known among the area where these people lived. So that's my take on it. That those places became dust, became utterly humbled and laid prostrate, destroyed completely without recognition. So, yeah, Andrew knows a lot about mud flood and stuff. Looks a lot at that. So yeah, that's all I have. It's a good read. Yeah, sorry didn't have anything extra prepared. I don't, Thanksgiving, family. My daughter was sick for like 2 weeks. She's better now, but that was stressful. So she's good now. So pray she doesn't have any more infections. She had a bad infection that she needed some medication for. Um, and the doctor said if she wasn't getting better, she'd have to go to the hospital. So thank the Lord, thank the Almighty, our Heavenly Father. He protected her from that. Because I don't know what I'd do if he had to go into the hospital. I'd lose my mind. So, and my husband's coming back from Colorado today, so I was alone. And anyway, I'm just glad she's better. So hopefully her body will pick back up, and it already has, but just keep strong. So yeah, um, officers deserve the standard. Yeah. Um, ugh, strange times. Who knows if it's a simulation or not, or what time we're in? I really don't know. I read something recently. Someone had a really good explanation of why he thinks the little season of Satan started in like 1770, because he based it upon some dates of the Bible. It was a pretty valid argument. I mean, you take everything with a grain of salt, but he was thinking that the Statue of Liberty has, which we all know is Lucifer, has the chain around his feet, and he was thinking that that was a symbol of Satan's loosing in Revelation 20, that they were celebrating his escape from the pit for that little time. And so then he was saying how July 4th, 1776 is revered because that's when Satan was loosed. And then he said, so a baseline, he thinks that it's not a missing 1,000 years, it's a missing 700 years. And then he said that, based on his calculations, then we'd only have like 100 or 200 years left in the little season. I don't know. So it was interesting. But I just, looking at old maps and looking at, these star forts, mud flood type structures, it's just so obvious. Like I said, in Utah, yeah, Judah, Utah, it's just major things happened. It wasn't evolution. It wasn't, my daughter was learning about erosion and all that stuff, and ice glaciers, and, sweeping, across the land, and floods. It was a lot more than that, but it's just super interesting. And I think on top of the mud flood and mysterious, places in our realm, they are seriously messing with our timeline because they want us to scramble. And I think in part, I do follow another lady. Yeah, the tunnels and everything, it's all over. Yeah, the star forts, everything, it's all over. So that's what I'm saying too. Isaiah seems to mark these places as much more significant than any Bible teacher or any archaeologist would ever tell us. They would say they're, the Assyrians were the strong people, or the Egyptians were the strong people. I think it was much larger and much more complicated. The technology was there. It was more complicated than that. And obviously, we see all the electrical charged landscape and things like that. So, yeah, I could just think about it, and I probably wouldn't get anywhere, but I think about it. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think what I was gonna say was what we see, especially with the technology Satan uses to make the masses think that logically advanced is not. It's just for more deceit, such as, the internet or, um, cameras all over or satellites. It's not, they're not, satellites don't even exist, but just how, what's going on, like in the two countries recently, the yellow and the blue or whatever. That's not happening. People have over and over that those people are living normal, um, they're living normal, happy lives, and there's nothing, it's all just fake. So, what I'm saying is a lot of the stuff we see is a simulation. It's just completely a stage. Yeah, Paul Cook. Sense? Is that what that is? I haven't heard of him. I haven't looked at him yet. Um, yeah. EP was the first person to that I found after I found FE that he talked about mystery history a lot 4 years ago, and that was awesome. And that's how I found autodidactic and Martin Littke and then Paul Cook. I'll have to look up Dutch sense also. But yeah, I wanted to when we lived closer to Chicago. I wanted to, like in 2019, go downtown and do lives there, but I never got a chance because, everything shut down. And I don't know if I could do that. Oh, earthquake person. Okay. INSE. I'll have to look him up. I'll look him up. So, yeah. But have a good afternoon, everyone. It is so dreary by me. I wonder if I feel sleepy. Oh, they don't have control of our souls, though. They might affect our spiritual bodies, but our souls are more vibrant and strong. They can't kill our soul. All right. Blessings. Thanks for joining me.